I have right here on the line a very special guest. He is one of two Ring of Honor Triple Crown champions. He's the current PWG champion, and he's a man that is gunning for the ROH title. And oh yeah, he just celebrated his birthday and just re-signed with Ring of Honor. I'm talking about one of the best wrestlers in the world, Roderick Strong. Roddy, how's it going?
Oh, it's good, dude. It's going really good. How are you?
Doing great, my friend. How you feeling after that 1 hour match with Jay Lethal?
Oh, man, I'm feeling all right. I'm prepared for the matchup in the sense of anytime you go into a big matchup, you try to get as ready as possible. And, I've had my eyes set on that date ever since I became the #1 contender. So, I was prepared to go all night long if necessary. So, I got a little banged up, but nothing a little iced and a little hot tub time can't take care of.
Did you end up weighing yourself after the match? Because I'd imagine you shed a few pounds.
No, that is actually something that I wish I would have done, but I didn't exactly know that was going to be the time. So, but it was time there, man. It was definitely an experience.
When did you guys find out you were going an hour?
When we were in the ring.
Wow. Yeah, that's just crazy. I mean, amazing conditioning. I mean, you, Jay Lethal, both of you guys are really clicking on all cylinders. You guys have been great for a long period of time, but I really feel like, especially for you, it's kind of been a career year. What's changed for you since you've been doing this for well over a decade?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just finding yourself. I mean, there's different aspects of professional wrestling that makes a complete wrestler, and I feel, there were some things I had and I picked up easy along the way, but especially if we're just talking my time in Ring of Honor, I had only really been on the Indies in Florida for a year and a half, 2 years at the most, like as an adult, trying to become a professional wrestler. So, I mean, I grew up in Ring of Honor as a wrestler, so, I mean, people have had opportunities to see every phase of it. Me just trying to find myself and figure out what's best for Roderick Strong and who he is as a performer. And I think it was just one of those things that, through trial and error and just trying to understand myself, certain things got figured out, and, those seem to have been the little, missing pieces that were necessary to make myself an all-around performer.
And you look like you're in great shape too. I mean, you've always been in great shape, but I feel like physically, at least looking from the outside, you look great. Has there been any changes to your diet?
It's not necessarily diet, but training. I got into CrossFit a little over a year ago, and just I have a great coach down here, like a weightlifting coach, and just I've always consistently ate well, but once you get those two things clicking on all cylinders, that's really what changes the game, and that's what happened with me. Because I was always trying different things, and I'd been suggested, other people have suggested to me that I should try CrossFit, and it's something that I would like because I love competitiveness of it. But I also love the fact that it's so technique-oriented, and there's a challenge. You're learning all the time, and it's kind of keeping you on your toes. And eventually, Seth Rollins had a few extra, leftover sessions at the gym that was near my house, from when he lived down here for FCW. And he kind of gifted them to me to just kind of open that door, because he was one of the main people suggesting it for me. So I went, and I got hooked, and I absolutely love it.
So believe the hype on CrossFit is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's finding the right coach and the right gym for you. But yeah, totally, man. It's just work capacity. It makes so much sense, obviously, for what we do as performers, and just being able to keep such a grueling pace in there. Even when you're exhausted. So I think it challenges you mentally and physically. So there's nothing better than that to me.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you recently celebrated your 32nd birthday?
Yes, I did.
Happy belated birthday. I mean, it's hard to believe that you've been around for so long and are still so young. How's your body feeling these days?
You know, it feels pretty good, and that's another aspect of CrossFit that really, you know, changed me. It's just, you know, with it being such functional training, mobility is key, and with better and improved mobility comes a better feeling body. You know, the standard bodybuilding style of training just doesn't translate for what we do, and necessarily for me. It made me too stiff, and this has just really opened me up and changed a lot of things, especially after the AJ Styles incident. It was just something that needed to be reevaluated and, you know, added and put at the top of the list next to dieting and training was increased mobility to increase my career.
And the big news is you just re-signed with ROH for 1 year. Obviously, a ton of ROH fans are excited. Definitely looking forward to seeing your rematch with Jay Lethal. But the question on everybody's mind is, are you going to still be allowed to defend your PWG title?
Man, I'm not going anywhere for a long time from PWG. I mean, unless I retire or end up going on somewhere else. I think I'm just going to retire with the belt. So, no, there's no worries, man.
Now, I was doing some research on your career. Obviously, a big fan of your work, as are most people that are probably going to be watching this right now. But I didn't realize that you were actually trained back in the day by Jim the Anvil Neidhart and the Warlord. Can you describe training under these unique men?
I mean, for me, I was a kid, so obviously it wasn't as grueling as it was for my dad and the other guys that trained with him. But, you know, it was cool. I'm a visual learner, and it was, you know, I had an opportunity to learn just like small, detailed stuff from Jim that, you know, after that I wouldn't have been able to get because, you know, I was around a lot of local guys that had not been to the places that he had been, and I learned just a lot, you know, about that kind of stuff, and physicality, and how important it was, and the emphasis on that. So, you know, same with, you know, the Warlord, just being around him is pretty unique because he, you know, obviously he's a huge guy, and, you know, I just kind of bumped around a little bit. You know, didn't learn necessarily that much from him, but, you know, being around guys that had been in the WWF and that had success in their career is obviously very motivating that one day that could be you.
Now, Ring of Honor's always had great matches, believable angles, tons of logic that unfortunately you don't see in other promotions and everything. But I really feel like this last year and a half or so, they've been almost clicking on all cylinders. Do you guys kind of get that feeling in the locker room?
Yeah, totally. I think, you know, and the fact that it's such a team atmosphere. You know, like I said, you know, my goal and something I want to do is get in the ring and make everybody better, and I think everybody wants to get better. You know, from the opening match guys all the way up to our bosses. You know, they just want to improve the product and the brand of Ring of Honor as much as they possibly can. So it's actually really impressive to see, and it's amazing. It's amazing how far it's come just to sit down sometimes and just think about it and be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Remember there were 300 people at the Murphy wreck, and now look, you know, it's amazing.
Well, Roddy, we asked some fans to submit some questions for you. We got quite a bit of a mixed bag. Are you ready?
Of course.
All right, this one from George. Brian Alvarez once called your match with Kurt Angle 10 years ago the greatest squash match he's ever seen. Should Kurt Angle's TNA contract expire down the road, would you love to wrestle one more match with him?
Of course. Of course. That was something I actually mentioned a few years ago when my contract was up with Ring of Honor, and I kind of, you know, just started free agency a little bit. That was a match that I wanted. And I believe Mike from High Spots tried to make it happen one time, and it eventually didn't work out. But you know, I've always heard Kurt's like such a wrestling machine, especially, you know, as I've got further along in my career, and I like to pride myself on conditioning and being aggressive. And I think, obviously, Kurt's, not in the prime of his career anymore, but I still think we could put on a hell of a match.
Scott asks, who, in your opinion, is the most underrated talent in Ring of Honor?
Yeah, I would say Silas Young, but I think people are getting it. I love Silas. I think he's a unique character in the sense of just what he brings to the ring, and he's got a little bit more of a classic style to him, but he still brings good physicality. And I think the next year will be a big one in Ring of Honor for him.
Who is your dream opponent?
I have a bunch of them. I mean, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Dynamite Kid, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Owen Hart, Rey Mysterio. I could go on for days of just people that I wish. Brock Lesnar, I would love to wrestle Brock.
From Alan. Watched a few PWG DVDs and absolutely loved it. Could you see them down the road trying out iPay-per-view? Because it is a crime that these shows aren't broadcast live.
Nope. I think the minute they do that, they lose being as unique as they are. And the fact that there's no iPay-per-view leaves the door open for people to wrestle there that wrestle with other companies that don't allow that kind of stuff. So, I think it's one of those situations where you either get a ticket or you have to wait for the DVD. And being the only company that's actually a big thing, I think they have that unlock, and I don't think they should change anything.
Yeah, it's a really cool approach by them. I mean, it seems like such a fun atmosphere, and I would imagine, you guys work your asses off in PWG, but I would imagine with the cameras not necessarily rolling live that, I don't know, it seems like more of like a fun, loose atmosphere. Am I correct?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, from the workers, from the wrestlers to the fans, everyone's going there to party, and it's not necessarily getting drunk partying, just good energy, and for me personally, I don't work any harder there than I do other places, but I get to bring a different aspect of who I am as a wrestler there, and it's fun, and it's just a fun crowd, and you want to give the people your best.
And one last one here. How long do you want to keep wrestling?
That really depends situationally. I mean, I would love to do it forever, but obviously I feel like I'm just starting to hit my athletic prime, so maybe 5 years, 7 years. Depends on what happens down the road. Money definitely talks, so we'll see. As long as I'm still bringing the same, me to the ring, then I'll do it. But the minute that, that becomes a noticeable decline, then I would retire immediately.
Awesome. Well said, my friend. Well, before I let you go, Roddy, the floor is yours to plug where fans can find you on TV and online.
Well, every Wednesday night at 11 p.m., Destination America. Then obviously, if you're in an area that has one of the Sinclair Broadcasting Group television stations, you go to ROHWrestling.com, which will have a link to where it airs and when it airs in your area. And you can look me up on Twitter at Roderick Strong, Instagram at Roderick Strong, Facebook Roderick Strong. Just keep it. And ProWrestlingTees.com/Roderick Strong. So.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Hey, easy enough to follow. Roddy, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck and everything.